unconsciously. I be looking for it, but I can't find it. I probably have to have Lo send me the link or some shit.
When they had
Like it was 2 years ago, and I'm like, I want to see this. Cause 2 years ago was like when he was on his like height of his train and shit.
that's funny.
You heard that man's name everywhere. He was damn near like Umar Johnson 2 Junior.
I even got kicked in his live. I even was in. I was in his live before the other. You know the other dude who's kind of famous on Instagram that makes all the funny shit and be biting on the mic and shit. I can't think of his name and shit. But I was in there with both of them, and he kicked me out. He kicked me out of his shit when I used to have Instagram. When I first started my journey, and I was on, yeah, that shit's funny. Too funny.
I need to start posting some of my videos on my Instagram.
Man, I got Instagram. I mean, ever since I got my first Instagram deleted, I got a page on there, but I just don't never. I don't know why I don't post on there like that or go be live on that shit, acting a fool just to act a fool. You know what I mean?
I was
Right?
on my Instagram once. And that's when I was
Yeah.
in Vegas with my cousins.
You said he too scared. Oh boy, yeah. He is.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I'm glad I did change my topic on what I was gonna go live on because look what happened. Everybody learned something. People agreed on stuff, shared history. It wasn't negative or drama filled.
Nah, that's why it was dope. They ended up turning out. Yeah, it ended up being something unexpected, which was like I said, it was dope. It ended up being something better.
It was meant to happen this way, and I just strongly feel like what you and B Frost said earlier. It was like confirmation for me. Like, just leave the shit alone, man.
Yeah, at this point, because dude, whole little magic. So it's like at this point, it's you get it. Like you get the. It's all about us enjoying because it's already enough dealing with people combating us with them wanting combating us with us wanting them to do their genealogy and pay homage to their folks. Make that make sense.
Right. I got this. I still can't find that one grandmother I've been telling y'all about.
Oh yeah.
Being stubborn. I have a
Where
feeling that this grandmother is gonna come to me in like a dream or something. Because
yeah.
my dreams been very vivid, and I've been able to remember my dreams a lot. And that's what happened before I found one of my other grandmothers that I was looking for. I was remembering my dreams. So I have a feeling she's going to reveal herself soon. And her documents are just going to start popping up.
Like I was saying, that shit, that genealogy shit, and doing this thing and paying homage to your folks don't stop until you actually are able to stop to a certain extent until you find that last ancestor, I guess, and then until that time happens. It's just like I said,
Right.
and that's why I was fucking laughing earlier with Mo motherfucking backsass sitting up here trying to rush people and shit. It's like, bro, you know how you sound, but I guess you a horseman joking.
Excuse me. That's Steve.
Oh, no, don't
Someone must be
maybe
talking shit about me.
huh?
When my grandfather, he used to say, whenever someone has a very hard sneeze or multiple sneezes back to back, someone's talking shit about you.
Oh yeah, that shit.
Remember when I went on that sneeze rant earlier and I stopped and I said someone's talking shit about me?
Yeah, that shit had me rolling. That's just because I can. Main reason why I was laughing because when I used to step on my like when my grandfather, I step on my grandfather's back of his heel, I used to have to touch his back.
Yep, my grandfather made me do that too. I regret not asking him why though. I never asked him why.
uh,
I should have. There's like that was a kid.
We all was. Shit, I ain't nothing better.
Hmm.
Anyway, like, I felt the same way. Like, shit. I should have asked him his ties to fucking Kemper County. Like, he was tied to fucking Kemper County and Scuba, Mississippi and shit. Or Scuba, whatever. Yeah, Scuba. Is it Scuba? Yeah, Kemper County. I know he was in Kemper County and then moved to Scuba. Or either one of the two.
Right.
Ain't no natives want to come up. Where the BGP tried to fucking tell me to come to her live earlier. I
Time
forgot.
lost. She think people miss her. Hell no.
Yeah.
Whole time though, I'm pretty sure somebody gonna let BGP know um, that she's being talked about. I only unblocked her because I've been hosting these lives, and I'm like, it'll be interesting to see what's her stance on my topics that I have.
Now,
She
right?
says that she's native, and I'm hosting these lives, so I will block some natives because I don't think it's fair that I have some of them blocked and some of them not. Go ahead, y'all can all roll it here together like we be rolling into y'all lives together.
Like, seriously.
Hi, I'm Topia. Oh wait, Topia, and I'm playing. Okay, wow. Nobody cares. That was weird. That's what I put in the comments. They playing with a Rose toy. Like, why? What is your purpose? I still want my question answered though. Only thing I've heard so far about the imitation part is that we wear feathers. So
Multiple demographics of people wear feathers, so
right, that's what I don't understand. So are the Australians and the Aztecs and the Mayans, like, are
oh
the
yeah,
Hawaiians, you know, all the original people, the Asians, are they imitating y'all culture too? Are they still in y'all culture too?
no, just you black people.
That should be my next question. Why are you calling yourself black if your skin is brown? Because, well, that is a question. Why are you calling yourself black if your skin is brown? Like, they literally say black and brown people. Like, I never heard a Hispanic, a Mexican, or Latino say, I'm a brown person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Peace to the God and goddess.
I don't know. You get what I'm saying, right? Oh, peace, Flash.
Yeah, no,
I heard.
yeah, that's just.
Besides,
Well, I don't know what the topic is exactly about, but if you're talking about languages, I don't think language is important like that. Because at one time, before time even existed, we didn't speak languages at all. It wasn't no need for language. We talked to each other telepathically. And once the oppressors invaded our planet back in 1492 and they started blowing up our pyramids and cutting our trees and shit down, that's when we lost our consciousness to what we was normally at because we were higher in the frequency at that time.
So let me. So have you? I gotta ask you, right, my G? Like, I get
Go
what
ahead.
you're doing because, yeah, but I gotta just ask you. Have you done your genealogy or your family tree or know thyself? Or been on that journey?
I'm in the process of doing it. I'm still doing that because I mean I know I'm some type of Indian. I just don't know what kind of Indian. So
so you say your peoples told you that Indian in you.
well, my mom told me that.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said My mom told me before, when she was still alive, she told me that she was Red Cherokee.
May her soul rest with the ancestors.
I said, but then my grandmother, she's like dark skinned, and I think she's Blackfoot. So I might be a mixture. I don't know. So I
Mm.
mean,
It's fine. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong. It's just the fact of that's, you know what I mean? If you take that in consideration and you taking what you've been told from your relatives or ancestors, technically elders,
yeah,
and go on this journey of, starting your family tree of seeing who they come from and who they descend from, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which is paying homage to your individual bloodline, just, which will make it eventually, if you choose to go down that road, which would make you eventually, if that's what they both said they are, I would say, we're just hypothetically speaking to a certain extent, if you're further on this journey, that you would be considered an American Indian, and then you would have to, find your band and all this other type of things. But that means you would be tied to American Indian history, which means you have now been ethnocided, right? Is that how I gotta pronounce it right? It's ethnocide. My homie just taught me a new word today and shit. It's just dope. But
I'm not
we just,
gonna say I'm an American and Indian.
exactly.
I'm gonna say I'm indigenous to this planet. So if any Indian I'm considered a type, it would be indigenous
Well, I get to that extent because we do agree also that, we were here all over the planet regardless. We,
because I don't want to claim something I'm not.
exactly. True. Respect. I appreciate that. So that's why I said
I
hypothetically.
respect that.
Exactly. That's what's up. So hypothetically, you taking this journey, which you're willing, I can see that you're willing to take this journey, whether,
Right,
cause, to give you a heads up, whether it's good or bad, it's, don't let nobody knock what the fuck you end up finding out that you're tied to, because there's so much shit and so much crazy things that have transpired in history.
right,
It's not about like how I can agree now to a certain extent when somebody says it was in the past. Yes, that's fine. It was in the past. That doesn't make no sense. Depends on the situation, depends on who it is or who that individual may be, if they are willing to continue when they find out who their ancestors are, whether it's good or bad, and what their history or what you may have been tied to or may be inherited to. You get what I'm saying? So it's like
yeah,
once you make that individual choice as a person to even want to take that fucking journey and not be under color of law. You get what I'm saying? And not put yourself under that classification and pay homage to your ancestors, whether it's good or bad, whether you had something to do with quote unquote slavery or a genocide of another people or being genocided or et cetera, et cetera. You get what I'm saying? It's the fact of knowing, which will make you be able to now have more of, and not an opinion, you'll be able to speak something factual, because it's like, no, my folks are tied to that. I can prove it. Those are my people you speaking on, which
right.
changes the dynamic of fucking everything. Changes conversation, changes how we look at history, changes how we talk about political shit and everything.
Well, we already have to relearn everything we already know. We have to relearn it because everything we got taught in school, everything we got taught in college, or any type of education we had from from young to old or whatever, we have to relearn that shit because we've been lied to for decades. Like for thousands, well, I'm not gonna say thousands. For many of years, they taught us not to stare at the sun. It's bad for you. You'll go blind. You'll catch skin cancer. Blase this, blase that. When the sun actually helps you, it heals you, it feeds you, it nourishes you, and it helps your third eye open. You know, it's just simple stuff like that. Like the math that we know, 1+1 really don't equal 2, but they taught that for many years that 1+1 is 2. 1+1 is actually 3. And the reason why I say that is because you have like that plus sign you see, you have to count that as an action. So if you have one person and then you have the plus sign, that counts as an action. And then you have another person, they have sex and they create a baby. So that's 3 people. So everything we ever learned is wrong. Even the geometry, even just simple stuff we think is normal is wrong.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's
why
good.
I said we got to relearn everything.
So what will be 1 plus 2?
Okay, it
Right?
will be 4.
It'll be 4.
Yeah, because you got to count the plus sign as an action. You have to count. You always have to
So the
count the
plus
action.
becomes another 1, basically.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I
Right,
suck at math. So,
right. So 5 plus 5 is actually 11.
Okay.
6 plus 6 is actually 13. 9 plus 9 is actually 20.
This is my
I
he,
mean
first time
19.
ever
he got
really
this.
hearing this.
Right. Like,
No, seriously. No, seriously. If
So
you do,
how did you come to this? Like, did somebody study this before, or
I go off the teaching. Well, I'm not going to say I go off, but I've been watching the Bobby Hemmett videos,
hmm
and he was saying that stuff because there's stuff that they don't teach us in public schools. Like I'm gonna tell you the difference. Like how that there's a private school
hmm
and then there's a public school. See, a public school, they'll teach you stuff, but they'll limit you to certain things. Now, once your parents pay for you to go to a private school, now those teachers, they'll actually teach you how to make your own money and start your own business. See, public schools, they'll tell you to go get a job, go to college, and get a career. When in reality, they're really enslaving you. A public school is not going to teach you how to start your own business or how to, or teach you the secrets of certain things. A private school will, because your parents or you spending the money, to get that, learn or whatever. And even the word education, you know what that word really means? I'm not talking about the dictionary meaning, and I'm not talking about the
yeah,
encyclopedia meaning.
it means rearing of a child animal and all that other type shit.
Yeah, the anthropology meaning of that is the training of animals.
Sure.
And our children are not animals, right?
But that goes for the same. Like, yeah, I gotta go in real quick because I got so deep to that. Who's technically wrong if getting something luxurious, or if she's considered a luxurious female or luxurious, you know what I mean? Like luxury. I was like, okay, luxury, and then we use the modern term for something materialistic, but that's not the origin term of luxury. So it gets like real petty like that. It gets real like, wow, how far we've come to just, because somebody who's be wrong. Like, am I wrong for, telling the female that, oh, you luxury, huh? And then if you go and you use that and show them that, they're not gonna believe you. They're gonna overrule that shit and be like, no, it means it means jewelry. What are you talking about? No, this is the root word of it. So it actually means you know what I mean? Debauchery. Woo-doo.
Hmm. But you're right. It means the training of animals. So when you send your kids to a public school, they're educating and training you like an animal because they only teaching you certain things to like they teaching you how to be a slave in a sense. Like how you work a 9 to 5 job, you work 8 to 16 hours a day, right?
Which
So
is
by the
control.
time you go home and get settled and do what you got to do, and before you go to bed, you're actually getting lesser sleep than what you actually work, and then you got to wake up the next day and do the shit all over again.
And you're also contributing to systemic racism. Like on top of losing years on your life, because if you don't work a regular 9 to 5 and you work a swing shift in a graveyard, you losing, like how you said, you're going against our clock of life, so you're already messing yourself up right there. And then on top of that, things they don't tell you, which, you know what I mean? The whole effect of you incorporating that into your lifestyle. So that it's not, it's like you said, it's the lack of knowledge. A lot of things that we don't know that we have to relearn and unlearn.
Like time, I'm gonna tell you about time. Time really doesn't exist. The past, present, and the future, as you know it, it happens simultaneously all at once.
Hold on 1 second.
So everything is pretty much now instead of the past or the future.
My bad.
Now,
C3.
now,
Yeah.
No, I was saying who's on the bottom, because I don't want, he's not mean to cut you off, but what's up there, Larvis or whatever it is.
Hilarious.
Oh yeah, what's good with y'all? No, I came in here just on the question. I was hearing y'all talk about genealogy, and in my understanding of genealogy, we all got the same common ancestor. So like when it comes down to it,
Where does this
like
common
it only
ancestor
takes you
come
back.
from?
Eve, the African Eve that they call her. You feel me?
Are you sure that Eve is African?
I mean, well, that's what the same genealogy people that y'all claim that y'all going to say. So, according to them, yeah.
You talking about family? You
I
talking
don't
about a
go
family
through
tree?
them.
Hey, hold on. You talking about a family
Right,
tree?
because everything that I'm getting right now is public information. You can look it up.
Are
Hold
you
on, you
talking
talking about-
about
It says,
a family
go
tree
back
or
and
a
read.
DNA test?
I'm talking about DNA and all of it. Genealogy and DNA is side by side.
No,
Like it go
hold on.
hand in
It's not
hand.
the same
Let's
thing.
do it
Yes,
like
it
this.
is the same.
Let's
Yes,
do
it
it like
is.
let's do it like this.
Yes, it is. Like when you look up,
Hold on,
all
let's do it.
genealogy goes back to the
My-
same family tree. What is it going to say? It's going to pull
my-
up. Go
hold on.
back a bit farther, and you research the date when your family tree shared not just one ancestor, but a common ancestor in common. And at
I'm pretty
a
sure
date,
I'm gonna have a lot of distant cousins.
Hey, let me
I'm pretty
ask you.
sure we
Aunties
all
and
got the same
uncles.
DNA, and that's that. Like,
Hold on.
y'all always
Let
like
me-
to throw
let
up
me- let me
y'all
ask
little
you.
genealogy,
Let me
but
ask
like,
you.
what
Hold on.
does it matter if
Hey,
we
G.
all got the same common people?
G,
That's what I'm telling
hold
you.
on.
Like,
Let me ask you something. Let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. Since you stated, because we're not even gonna get on the. I got like 2 or 3 things I gotta ask you, but since I just heard you right now sit up here and say we
I
all
have so
got
many questions.
exactly, but let me just do the DNA because you said we. And the last thing you said is that we all got the same DNA. Okay, so if we all got the same DNA, my G, how come there is a thing that is called a Rogaine shot, and some people have to get this shot because the woman's fetus will attack the child if you have a baby with certain bloodlines that you're not allowed to have a baby with? And do you
I don't want to hear it. I don't even want to be on y'all chat if y'all gonna come with that fake stuff. Like,
No,
you
listen,
know,
I can
all that
hold on,
muting and
hold
stuff.
on, sir.
Like, make
Okay,
it make
hold
some
on.
sense now.
Sir, we're talking about.
Go ahead. I'll mute it. Go ahead and make it.
Okay. Now, Booty, who kicked him? He got. Did he drop or did he get kicked?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Cause that I don't know what just happened.
Why?
Well, nobody has the same DNA.
Let me ask you now. Hold on, because he done got you in the hot pocket a little bit.
That's it.
Nobody has the same DNA though. Like melanated people have DEA, but they just call everybody a DNA just to make everybody, as far as equal. But you got beings that have DNA, which were genetically created, and then you have beings that
so you know
are created by God.
So basically, you know about the Rogaine shot.
Yeah, I ain't taking no shots.
No. I'm just. Right? Hey, do you know about the shot? Do you know about the Rogaine shot? A lot of people like you'd be surprised. Do you know about the Rogaine shot?
A Rogaine shot?
Rogaine, Rogram, however you fucking pronounce the
It's
shit.
You
when
talk about the shit that grow your hair back?
two people with two different blood types try to create a baby, and it can the body can unalive the baby because it's a it sees it as a foreign object because it has a different blood type
So basically, if your ass
of the
has,
mom.
if your, like how you said, if your God status ass has a child with one of these people and they ain't the right bloodline, that fetus go attack that child because nature's like, nigga, what are you doing? I just only told you you could have sex.
Well, you can have off frequency babies, if that makes sense.
Bruh, if that fetus is gonna attack
What?
that thing, I'm gonna tell you like this: the natural law before us as human beings were able to come up with this shot to stop the natural process of the fetus attacking and her cells attacking this child because your ass or her ass, due to your bloodline or your melanin or whatever boy or whatever, because of your
Yeah.
status of line, is not supposed to be having a child with this person by natural law, because your body will attack
Universal law.
the fetus. Universal law. And that both, you know what I'm saying? And that we as human beings have now created something to overrule that.
Hmm. Well,
Would you like to
I
see the
put it
shot?
like
Would you
this.
like to see it? Would you like to see the would you like to see the shot?
Yeah, I want to see that shit.
Hold on one second, give me a minute.
So what's a frequency, baby? While he's
I said
getting
an
that,
off frequency baby.
what's that?
Well, that's like you having sex with a dude, but y'all really don't have the chemistry and y'all not beating on the same frequency or vibration, but y'all still have sex and make a baby, and then the baby, because y'all not vibrating on the same frequency, it'll make the baby off frequency or low frequency or low in frequency. And that's when babies start having certain problems or issues, and shit like that. Like, because you're not meant to create a baby with anybody you have sex with.
Here
That's
you
one
go,
thing.
see. Here you go. So this
Fuck
is
that.
when you go against nature, right? I'm not trying to be rude, I mean, because we have people now in society, and this is due to how you said earlier. Like this is why you this is type shit. This shit humbled me. Like it's other things that humble me, but this is type of shit where it's like when you really about doing research and going down history with integrity and shit, type shit like this will humble you, right? Because it's like I'm not
Yeah.
trying to attack nobody. I'm not trying to make fun of nobody. And this is me due to me not knowing for half of my life that this existed. So I'm like, damn, there's people out here that exist now because they, us as human beings, created something to overrule this right here, to overrule this process. We created that to overrule this process, sir.
Right. Okay. I mean,
As human
yeah,
beings.
they try to, yeah.
So when people
Um,
sit here and say, like how you stated earlier, we don't know, say we're all humans. Are
We're
we
all
all?
the same,
Are we all
no,
the same?
no, we're not. No, I mean,
but we're not.
everybody is not human. That's the crazy part about it. Because
You
what you consider a human being, like they call everybody on earth human beings, as far as black, white, Chinese, Arab, African, etc. Right? They call all of us human beings, but only the melanated beings, and I'm talking about black, Latino, or anybody that has carbon or melanin in them, neutral melanin, I mean, because there's two different melanins. Um, you know, those people are not considered human beings. Now, the
Who's not
people that
considered?
don't have, huh?
Who's not considered human beings? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear the last one.
I said the people that are not human beings are the black, Latino, or anybody that has carbon or melanin in them?
Well, it depends because we've gotten it. That's the hard part. And that's another hard pill to swallow because it's like, it sucks. Well, it doesn't suck, but
If you're mixed, if you're a mixed child, then you still got melanin in you because one of your parents is black or
but
Latino.
that but this is where it's like even if you're mixed or even if you like like the homie Johnson, like how he looked earlier, and he showed everybody how he looked earlier, but he did his family tree and he's tied to some heavy shit. You get what I'm kind of saying? So that's the judge. So it's like, what do you do when somebody done did they shit and they tied by blood, paperwork and all, know their
Well,
history, that shit,
well,
and
if it's
just
blood,
like
then that's a whole different story. But what I'm just saying that we as melanated beings are not considered the average human being. We're like,
yeah, I agree.
and that's why my name is not Ether, because you have to understand that there are 9 ether beings, there are 6 ether beings, there are 3 ether beings, there's 4 ether beings.
Yeah, I get where you're going. I get as and that's not no like on just saying like that's just how it is to a certain extent.
Yeah,
No, I get where you're going.
and that's scientific fact. So, because it was a guy, I forget his name, but he did experiments on everybody in the U.S. But he was doing pretty much white people. Once he went to Africa and started doing their DNA or whatever, they had a different strand of DNA than everybody else. And because I'm sure you heard of ghost DNA or junk DNA. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have junk DNA, meaning, but it's calcified. It, just like our pineal gland is calcified. But once we're able to activate that strand, that's when we'll start doing things that's beyond our 5 senses, because we're limited to 5 senses right now. But once
But that
upon a
has to do
time ago, huh?
No, I was gonna say that, but that has to do with us being disassociated from source, being disassociated from our oldest parts of life, being disassociated from our bloodlines,
Well, the oldest parts of life,
coming
you
back
would
together,
probably think the
coming
oldest
back
parts of life
together.
that we was associated with, you would think it's not normal because you're accustomed to doing you, you're I'm
My thing,
misspoken. So excuse me.
this my thing. How can you, to a certain extent, ascend to any kind of like level of any kind of spirituality or any kind of higher level of consciousness by not paying homage to how you're able to be here to either to get to that higher gain of consciousness? How you got to know your oldest part of life. Like as a man, you supposed to
Well,
especially
let the
as a
truth be
man.
told, any answer you need that you're willing to find out, all the answers is within ourselves. Hey, believe it or not,
But that's my
all you
thing.
gotta
Do you plan on having kids? Do you have kids, or do you have a
yeah,
family? Or do you have kids?
I do have kids actually.
Okay, so the things that you're doing right now are to further better for your kids to have a better understanding and them not to be going through and tribulations and the things that we had to go through as we've been.
Right.
We're all myself included. We're all. I got kids too, so we're all in this to like put it to a better extent to put them where they don't have to go through the things that we went through, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so but this is what so I understand how I feel that by not acknowledging or doing your family tree and knowing thy oldest port of life, you're so everything you're doing, and then for your kids, they're not gonna know not to do that. So they're not gonna know anything that you're doing, my G, because you don't know your oldest ports of life. So that means your oldest ports of life, kids, which is you never knew anything that they did for you to be able to do what you're doing for your kids to not know anything that you're doing.
Well, that's when you change history and break the cycle of what you know, because if you keep going back, one of our ancestors did the right thing, and whatever it was, You know what I'm saying? Not every family member, as far as our ancestry, did the same thing that we're doing now. You have to keep going back until you can't go back no more. And then you're going to bump into your set of ancestors where they did things that you don't even think you would be able to do.
But you know the trippy part out, and you should be able to understand when I say this, because a lot of people will even vouch and tell you, because C3 will be able to vouch and tell you when you really start going hard on that genealogy and paying homage to your ancestors and stuff like that, you'll start having certain ancestors call to you, or you'll start have certain like things, or you'll start having certain, like when you start having that certain ancestor or a certain thing tie you to something, and you wonder why you have a certain demeanor, or why you're very good at math, or why you do art. You start taking in consideration these things, that how you are as an individual, you start correlating that with your family bloodline, and your family bloodline could have been shamans, could have been royalty, could have been the person that started the thing that you're into. What if your bloodline was the ones, and that's why you're into astrology, were part of some astrology family that was very well known, but throughout history, and something happened with the mud floods or whatever it is that you may find in your history, people forgot about y'all, bro.
Right.
How do you not know that?
How do you not know that? Well, I'll put it like this. If you have a certain talent, or if you like to do a certain thing, then subconsciously you know. You just don't know because at the end of the day,
The family tree. You don't know your eldest. You don't know your oldest. You don't know your elders. That's all of most of us. That's how the world and everybody as a collective has been disassociated, and we're in the situation that we're in collectively as well, because most people you walk up in society today, no matter what they look like of any kind of demographic, does not know their seventh or eighth grandmother.
well, they been removed our consciousness decades ago. They been did that. Like, once they calcified our pineal gland and brainwashed us, and that was it. And
Oh,
because we really don't know who the fuck we are.
no, we didn't. But that's the thing. That's what's happening right now. That's what you're witnessing. You're in the midst of us coming back into knowing who you are. You're on the panel right now with two people that have Mississippian ties, bro. Me and C3 got ties to one of the only people here in America. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're speaking
Yeah.
to people that don't identify as African Americans or black. We identify as Mississippians, which conflicts with everybody's ideologies and culture. That's why we want more people like yourself and others that are copper colored or look like me and C3 to do their shit, so you can stand on your square that predate all these ideologies and beliefs and free yourself.
Well, one thing I think we need to put to the side and perhaps maybe stay away from is religion. Not to offend anybody that's in a religion, because I've experienced a lot of religions myself. But if you think about it as a whole, or if you think about religion as a whole, religion was put on us to conquer and divide us and make us have differences. And that's what happened, or that's what's been happening. Because you don't see Baptists chill with a non-denominational Christian or a Pentecostal Christian, or you don't see the Western society Christians chill with the Christians that live overseas. Stuff like that. Christians don't agree with Islam. And Islam don't agree with Buddhists. It's just a lot of confusion.
But the tricky thing, and the thing I find very tricky with that whole situation is that the valid excuse to a certain extent that they have, that they like, because us coming into who we are, us, me, C3, our community, and other people who are just doing their genealogy, period, that's conflicting with the narrative we've been told as people. Because at this point, you have to understand, anybody that's going on their journey of doing their genealogy is now conflicting with the narrative that we've been told. So if you take that in consideration, right, it's people that are now not wanting to
go with that flow, or not go wanting to go with that, paying that homage. So how do we go with, like I said, the valid excuse of them saying that it gives them mental satisfaction? Because, like I said, I don't want to take away something that makes a person a better person, because I don't like umbrellaing shit and being like, oh, just all religion is bad and it's evil. It actually has made better.
No,
It's made you get what I'm kind of saying?
You
That's the complete
okay?
part about it. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah. I'm just smoking. I did, and my allergies acting up. No, but no, I'm not saying religion is bad. It's just, and I'm not
That's the hard.
saying it's supposed to lie, because there's truth to every religion.
How
There's
do
truth
we
to every religion,
But
but
how do we
at the
get over
same
that
time,
it gives them mental satisfaction, or how do we do it makes them a better person and they still want to keep it? Because I don't want to. We're not trying to take it away from them, but how are we supposed to distance ourselves from it